Welcome to Gilmore Girls Talk.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Noelle. And on this week's episode of Gilmore Girl Gossip,
we're talking about the new Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life.
But first, coffee.
That's what you're worth. Where you lead, I will follow. Anywhere that you tell me to. If you need me to be with you, I will follow where you lead.
For those of you who don't know, Gilmore Girls is a comedy drama that aired from 2000 to 2007 that is about a mom and a daughter who are best friends.
Fun fact, Amy Sherman-Palladino, who's the writer of Gilmore Girls, went in to pitch actually a different idea to the producers and they hated it. They hated every idea she had. And so in a last-ditch effort, she just threw it out there. She's like, mother-daughter, best friends. And it sold immediately. And then she got to write the pilot for it and it was just, I guess, luck.
Yeah.
And the three main themes for Gilmore Girls is really independent women, the differences between social classes, and a generational divide.
And overall, the whole show gave a very inspiring approach that kept the audience keep coming back and to continue watching the show.
So here's a quick clip of the old Gilmore Girls.
I need coffee and an IV.
How many cups have you had this morning?
5, but yours is better.
I'll never be that stupid again.
Oh, sure you will.
Have you lost your mind?
Boy, with the poodles already.
So why does everyone love Gilmore Girls? I mean, I know everyone loves and can relate to the strong mother-daughter bond, but what else is there?
Well, honestly, Stars Hollow, which is the small town that all the characters live in, is a huge component of the show. It provides a very small town charm with its whimsical feel, and also the clever writing of every episode is a really big part of it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, like the offbeat pop culture references and the quirky characters. I mean, you really love everything about Gilmore Girls.
I totally agree. So let's talk demographics. We're actually a prime example of what Gilmore Girls is trying to reach. And the same goes for A Year in the Life, which they're trying to reach women under the age 35, as well as the loyal fan base that they originally had when the show first started.
And it's actually interesting to know that Nielsen talks about the original show had 5 million viewers in 2007. But since then, they actually have 11 million viewers in just reruns. So the ratings show that Gilmore Girls is just getting more popular, and I'm sure it's even bigger now with the revival be coming out.
Yeah, and to go along with more hype, examples are their merchandise,
Podcasts,
cast interviews and articles,
social media involvement,
Luke's pop-up coffee shops.
I mean, the hype is real.
It is.
We have limited time. Should we skip the town tour?
We can't skip the town tour.
Well, we'll keep it short. There's a debate going on whether or not to take the phone booth out.
But where would Superman change when he comes to save our town from Ben Affleck?
I made the same excellent points.
I am not making tater tots.
Why not?
We need sustenance.
You're eating tacos.
They're organic.
And I saw you grab those mini donuts, put them down right now.
The critical response about the revival was quite positive from news sources such as New York Times,
Rotten Tomatoes,
The Guardian,
Variety,
ABC News,
IndieWire,
and more.
I mean, critics and fans alike were all willing to overlook the flaws and, I mean, I guess focus on the positives from like nostalgia or maybe like a new generation's connection to the series. We do not agree.
From a commercial aspect, the show clearly delivers.
And it's even spawning talk of continuing the series from the millions of new fans.
And from an artistic aspect, the show kind of fails.
And we'll tell you why.
So now we're going to talk about the production elements in regards to camera work and editing.
So in the original Gilmore Girls, they used this master shot filming style, which means it was really long takes, following the characters around town.
And in A Year in a Life, the revival, it kind of seemed that they used cranes and jib arms, which kind of made it really uncomfortable. It didn't seem to really flow. It kind of felt like we were floating in bizarre.
Yeah, it was not grounded. It was like even kind of like shaky.
It was
and
pretty
wobbly.
stiff. Like it honestly felt like they could have used some oil in their equipment. Like, gonna be real, it didn't work.
I mean, overall, the suspension of disbelief was ruined. Like,
It's gone.
it wasn't there. So let's talk production design.
First, what is with the set?
I know, it looks so bad. And I mean, in all fairness, they had to redo the entire set of Stars Hollow because Pretty Little Liars took over the Warner Brothers set, and I know they didn't have blueprints and they had to just do it all themselves. But at the end of the day, that was their job, and they failed.
Yeah. And one thing to note is how weird the proportions seemed while watching the revival. Either it seemed like the characters were too large compared to the furniture, or vice versa, and we never really saw that before, and like seeing it this time just made it very off-putting.
And that's not even talking about the oversaturation. I mean, I don't know if it was the production design or maybe done in the editing room, most likely both, because it was way too much.
And the unnatural color honestly made everything seem very unrealistic and kind of made it appear to be like a set of a sitcom.
Oh my gosh, that's totally true.
So unnatural and uncomfortable seems to be the new film aesthetic for Gilmore Girls. 3 out of the 4 episodes of the revival featured musical numbers. The important thing to note is that all of these musical numbers just seem to be filler material for the episodes because they took up a decent amount of time that didn't seem necessary by any means.
Completely unnecessary. So regardless of the artistic aspects of the show being atrocious, they got Amy Sherman Palladino back to write the revival. And so I'm like, you know what? The narrative, it's gonna save the day, right? No.
So, Rory and Lorelai are the heart of the show, which is the reason why they're called Gilmore Girls, because they are the Gilmore Girls. And in the old series, they seemed, they're just so sweet, great independent women, doing their own life. But in this revival, they seemed arrogant, and it was very depressing to watch, and they seemed pretty mean also, which isn't like their characters by any means. So the next thing to talk about is how it seems to be that Rory and Lorelai haven't really changed in 10 years. 10 years! That's just not 1 year, it's been 10 years. Everyone still seems to be kind of stuck in the same place. They seem to be more immature, and they just don't know how to move on, and it's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, Rory, it's like relationships, her and Logan, ridiculous. It's so out of character. I mean, Logan is cheating on his fiance, Rory's cheating on her boyfriend, and they're stuck in this weird, like, same, are we in a relationship? Are we not? Like, it's been 10 years! How have you not figured it out yet? It's just like, it's so sad to see these two incredibly independent, ambitious women out there just flailing and being in these horrible relationships and going nowhere in life and still trying to figure it out. So, most disappointing part of the show, Rory.
Rory is still unemployed at age 32. Even though she's valedictorian at her high school.
She went to Yale.
She was the editor for school newspaper.
She got a job as the press following around Obama.
And she still doesn't have a job after 10 years. And in all honesty, it's kind of weird if you kind of take a step back and look at it, with Rory not having a job, like coming out of college. It's kind of a slap in the face to us millennials, because that's a really harsh reality that we potentially will face.
Like, it's not inspiring. That's the point of the show. We're supposed to be inspired, uplifted. I was depressed and like horribly scared about my future after this. Like, if Rory can't make it, no one can make it.
Exactly. Time for the final breakdown.
So the writing style wasn't clever or funny. It used mainstream pop culture references that screamed trying too hard to appeal to the younger generation.
The characters were the worst part of themselves 10 years ago, except 10 times worse now.
The format of 4 90-minute segments failed horribly. I mean, it had no real direction or arc, it was filled with irrelevant subplots, the jokes dragged on, and it was just overall uncomfortable.
The production elements were oversaturated, oversized, and overdone.
Lastly, I will never get over that they took out the Where You Lead theme song.
And they replaced it with graphic, crummy title cards.
I mean, Gilmore Girls The Revival stripped the show of everything that made it authentic and sentimental.